Everyone recognizes the green, orange, and red signs of 7-Eleven, but walk into a 7-Eleven in Sydney and it feels completely different. Because 7-Eleven in Australia isn't like 7-Eleven anywhere else. For more than 4 decades, 7-Eleven in Australia was run by 2 families, the Withers and the Barlows, who ran 7-Eleven completely independent from the main global company. It was a localized operation, tailor-made for Australians by Australians. Just a couple of families running one of the most recognizable franchises in the country like it was their own backyard barbecue. But in 2024, everything changed. 7-I Holdings, the Japanese conglomerate that owns the global rights to 7-Eleven, swooped in and bought out the Australian operation for $1.71 billion. It was a massive acquisition, an end of a long-running era, and the moment where Australia's homegrown spin on a global brand finally got folded into the corporate playbook. But before we get into what might change, let's rewind. The story starts in 1976, when the Withers and Barlow families secured the exclusive license to operate 7-Eleven in Australia. The first store opened in Oakleigh, Melbourne, when the Withers and Barlow families took the American concept of a convenience store and gave it an Aussie twist. By the late 90s and early 2000s, the business expanded even faster. But through all of it, they kept the structure tight. Still privately owned, still run like a family operation, and still untouched by the global parent company. That independence gave them room to move, to localize every part of the experience from pricing and product selection to fuel strategy and tech innovation, all without having to ask permission from anyone overseas. That's how 7-Eleven in Australia ended up offering some things that seemed bizarre or even revolutionary, at least compared to its overseas counterparts. First up is the petrol. In Australia, fuel became a core part of how 7-Eleven operates, with servos and convenience stores blended into one seamless setup. The company doubled down on this model by launching the 7-Eleven Fuel app in 2016, letting customers lock in the best price they could find and redeem it later. An idea that completely reshaped how Aussies approached filling up. It let Aussies lock in the lowest fuel price they could find at any 7-Eleven and then redeem that price at any store within 7 days. So if you spotted petrol at $1.55 a litre across town, you could lock it in and fill up later, even if prices jumped to $1.80 by the time you got there. Suddenly, buying fuel felt like playing the markets. It was clever, addictive, and wildly effective at building loyalty. Then there's the food, which ended up being way better than anyone expected. 7-Eleven Australia carved out a solid reputation for snacks that were actually worth eating. But it wasn't all genius plays and meat pies. In 2015, 7-Eleven Australia got caught in a scandal that nearly shattered its reputation. An explosive investigation by Four Corners and Fairfax Media exposed widespread wage theft across dozens of stores. Many employees, who were mostly international students and migrant workers, were being paid below minimum wage, forced to work excessive hours, and threatened with visa consequences if they spoke out. The system was rigged to make it look like workers were being paid properly, with fake payroll records hiding the abuse. The scandal caused a huge public backlash. By 2021, over $173 million had been paid to workers who'd been underpaid across the network. But this pointed to a larger problem with how the business was set up. Franchise owners were under pressure to stay profitable while still handing a fixed percentage to head office. When the margins got tight, it was the workers who ended up paying the price. Even after the fallout, the families kept control of the company, but signs of change were starting to build. Retail was becoming more competitive, labor costs kept climbing, and fuel margins were getting thinner by the year. 7-Eleven had managed to weather the COVID years better than most, but the momentum had slowed and growth was no longer what it used to be. Something had to give, and the idea of a bigger shift started to feel less like a possibility and more like a necessity. In 2023, the families announced they were exploring a sale. Private equity firms reportedly kicked the tires. But in the end, it was the original franchise owner, 7-I Holdings, who stepped up to reclaim their Aussie cousin. 7-I Holdings had taken over the global 7-Eleven brand after explosive success in Japan. It quickly outperformed the original American company, and by 2005, it had grown so dominant that it had bought them out, grabbing full control of the global franchise and turning 7-Eleven into the world's largest convenience chain. For the first time in its history, 7-Eleven Australia is under direct control of its international parent, setting the stage for a new era, one that's likely to look very different from what came before. 7&I doesn't run businesses like a mom-and-pop operation. It's a multinational beast with over 80,000 stores worldwide. In Japan, it's known for hyper-efficiency, cutting-edge retail tech, and obsessive product standardization. It runs distribution centers with near-military precision, so it's likely the new owners will want to optimize everything, cut costs, boost margins, and unify processes. For everyday Aussie customers, that shift could mean subtle but noticeable changes. Prices might drop in some areas as operations become more streamlined, and checkout systems could get faster with updated tech. But at the same time, some of the charm might start to fade. Quirky, locally loved products could be replaced with a more standardized range that fits the global model. Franchisees will likely be working under tighter controls, with more performance targets and less room to run things their own way. New technology will almost certainly follow, including AI-based inventory systems, cashless self-checkouts, and even facial recognition loyalty programs, which are already being tested in Japan. These changes are designed to make the business more efficient, but they also risk stripping away some of the human feel that made local stores feel personal. But let's be fair, this could come with upsides. A stronger logistics network could mean fewer product outages. Tech-driven management could reduce waste and improve efficiency. Stores could finally get long overdue renovations. And if the new owners are smart, they'll recognize the value of what the locals already love, especially the fuel app, which continues to be a major loyalty engine. If anything, expanding that tech or rolling out new features could make it even stickier. Still, the heart of this story isn't just about corporate strategy or margins, it's about identity. 7-Eleven in Australia has been a weirdly successful cultural remix. It took an American concept, filtered it through a uniquely Aussie lens, and built something people genuinely used and liked. That independent streak is fading now. The servo/convenience store/sugar rush enabler is becoming part of a global machine. Whether it gets more efficient or more soulless entirely depends on what the new owners do next. But one thing's certain, the next time you tap your phone to lock in a fuel price or order that suspiciously satisfying toasty at 2 a.m, remember, you're living through the end of a retail era. The families are out, the corporation is in, and the local servo you grew up with might not be so local anymore. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you never have to miss out on more deep dives like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay curious.